Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back for 12 games in 13 days at Toyota Field, starting June 10th through the 22nd. The back-to-back homestands contain 5 giveaway nights, 4 post-game fireworks shows, 2 brand-new team identities, and the in-park debut of the number 57 Trash Pandas race car. Get your tickets for the double homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because, after all, Alabama is our home, too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
Tom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those 2-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Swung on, rocketed. Left center field. That's going to get down and go to the wall. First. He's on his way to second. He'll pull in. There's the first and the second in Trash Pandas history.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
I guess I did. Welcome in to The Drive. It was me honestly not remembering to put in the old open.
This show is so fresh. It's being made right up into airtime.
I'm just telling you. We are back here from the beach. Technically, I was back here for Friday.
Well,
but,
I was here.
Alabama baseball decided to have a rain delay. Little did I know that was the highlight of the weekend for the old Crimson Tide. Boy.
Yeah, downhill pretty quick after that.
Yeah, that's
O2 barbecue. Well, there's another one. Yeah, Oklahoma. They're about to get bounced as well by North Carolina. Yeah, it is not a good week.
Texas Vanderbilt, who's the number one seed, first
gone.
time ever.
They didn't even make a regional final. When they did this new format, that's the first time that a number one national seed did not make their own final. And they got beat by Wright State, the Raiders of Wright State.
There's a paddle for every ass, Steve.
Twice.
You better be ready to play.
Twice. Yeah. So, but a tough weekend for the old SEC, unless your name is the Auburn Tigers. I mean, goodness gracious. Gabe Gross, the assistant head coach, is going to join us here in about 8 minutes' time because Auburn already through to the Supers, getting ready for the Chanticleers. And Auburn hit rather well over the weekend, including putting up 11 against NC State. But the only time I got to watch Auburn when everything was on ESPN Plus. So I was watching like these little boxes on Squeeze Play. That's the only time I got to watch Auburn was on Squeeze Play.
Bouncing it down to El Ocho.
So Coach Gross, I didn't get that joke fully.
It's Kingpin.
Yeah.
They're all the ESPN.
Yes.
ESPN 8 El Ocho.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be here all week. Try the field.
Yeah, you know what else folks need to try? That is our zone deals. I did it for lunch today.
Oh, yeah.
Full Moon Barbecue.
I have orders to get picked up on the way home.
Every time I come into the office, I can smell Full Moon.
Yes.
In the parking lot.
Yeah, you go north on the parkway, you smell Krispy Kreme. You go south, you hear Full Moon.
Yeah.
You smell Full Moon.
And the good news is Full Moon Barbecue.
Might be just your car, Steve.
Yeah, this is the heaviest block of the parkway.
That's fair. I had Bad Daddy's Burger Bar over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
I also had Full Moon today.
You know, you could do that. You could be like Steve. You could get a zone deal. 977ESPN.com up in the top left. Saving never tasted so good. Print them right out.
You
could be here and guys at Full Moon. You can take those zone deals and use them at the drive-through. Not even have to get out of the car.
No. So just that
be
simple.
Be a hero. Double your money.
I went
zone deals.
I went chili cheese dogs there at Full Moon.
Well done.
Yeah. Oh wow, spam call. Yeah, I love these. Yeah.
My understanding, there's a new D'Armond because the D'Armond used to be the grilled cheese.
Oh yeah, no, is there a new D'Armond?
I thought there was the last time you guys were there.
Well,
because when there's food, Drew shows up.
Well, Drew is showing up today.
Well, then I'd hide your lunch.
I know. Yeah. So I've got some stuff in the back.
Hide your kids.
It was right here, and I moved it.
Yeah. See.
That's calculated.
Your goats have been in this rodeo before.
Yes. So Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Full Moon Barbecue, and that's just among those are the deals that I purchased over the weekend. You've also got
gorgeous
Hickory Store Barbecue,
yep.
Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, which is right on the belt line there in Decatur. Bigfoot Little Donuts, I did that a couple of weekends ago. And then also rounds of golf, both at Gunner's Landing Golf Course and Cherokee Ridge. There is
nice, guys.
And there's no doubt that I would assume the fairways are flush.
Yes.
Because of how much rain we got in the month of May. Welcome to June, by the way.
Yeah, I was out by Cherokee Ridge over the weekend, and it just looks, they're almost glowing. They're growing so well.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful weather for golf. And you can do very well by doing zone deals to go play golf.
Well, also the kids are out for summer. There is also Flow, Trampoline, Air Park, and Divergence.
Well, I was thinking just let the kids be the caddy.
Yeah. Well, there's that as well. But you've also got an opportunity to stay indoors over there at Flow, Trampoline, Air Supreme Park.
They've got great air conditioning.
And then Divergence as well. So that is a little bit of our zone deals. So the 5+11 model, boy, starting to gain a lot of traction and a lot of opinions are coming out. But hearing the opinions as a whole, it really kind of does boil down to one thing and one thing only that we know nothing about. And that is the selection process that the committee goes through. And there was some news, though, that I devised today. So you remember we were told in the theater room that the 26 schedule for the Southeastern Conference is coming out between November 30th and December 1st. That is their date-ish. That was what the commissioner told me when I was asking about preserving.
Sometime in that 24 hours to 48 hours.
So why is that? Well, this is what Commissioner Sankey said on the Dan Patrick Show earlier today about when we can expect a decision from the CFP on their new format coming up in 26. Let me know if you something might ring a bell here.
Yeah, by agreement, the outer boundary is November 30, December 1 of this year for the 26 playoff.
Boy,
that's one day difference. I mean, it's like going, that's like saying Friday or Saturday.
So more or less, there is no doubt that the Southeastern Conference is waiting on the CFP to release their formula for 26, and the Southeastern Conference will
whatever you
suit.
decide. I'm with you, fellas.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So there's no doubt in my mind. If you look at what's going on as far as the rest of the country, is this is a money play by the rest of the country. And what we're doing is when I say we, the Southeastern Conference is doing, is waiting to see, hey, what are you going to do? We might play 9 games, but if you do it like you did last year, there's no way we're playing 9 games.
Yeah.
And that's what they're holding. That's what's happening right now. It's a Mexican standoff. Everybody else wants the SEC's money. That's what's happening. Go and look at all these websites, look at all these different conferences. And the problem is the reason Florida State and Clemson want to get out of the ACC is they're going to get about 30 to 35 million a year a piece in schools. The SEC is going to make 100 and something million. It doesn't take long for that.
That doesn't take very long to figure out.
Yeah, that don't take very long for that. Is not going to be good for the ACC. So there you go.
I've got more from Greg Sankey as well as Joel Klatt. And there are a few sentences I've ever said in the history of this program. I agree with what Joel Klatt said today. And it's true, but not completely what Joel Klatt said. But I'm going to have a few little snippets there from Joel Klatt coming up on the program a little bit later on. We are here for the full 2 hours. Did not get a chance to play the interview Friday because we were bumped for Bama baseball and a sit down. It was really a stand up that I had with Heather Dinich. And
joy.
Yeah, if you'd like to play that tonight, kind of close things out with Heather. We talked a lot about the 5+11 and why everybody loves it. Well, it is still baseball season down on the plains as Coach Gabe Gross is kind enough to join us, the Southeastern Conference. That was a tough weekend for the old SEC, but it wasn't all that tough for the Auburn Tigers. Coach, congratulations on a very successful weekend.
Man, I appreciate it, guys.
Well, give me a thought or two, because honestly, I was looking, and ESPN Plus put you guys up in a box and squeeze play. So I was watching as much as I could, but give me your impressions, what you saw out of your team, especially in the batter's box for your squad.
Well, it's always the SEC tournament's always interesting. I go back to that because it's we really went into the SEC tournament with a mindset of wanting to win it, and didn't get out of game one, lost 3-2. Really good pitching performance in general, but it was a blessing and a curse all at the same time. I mean, obviously we wanted to do well, but it really gave us time to go home and get healthy and just rest a little bit. Long grind, grueling season. And when we started, I guess I threw each game a little bit. The Friday night game, I thought we were okay, but I thought we won, but we looked like we hadn't played in a little while, which is a little bit of the curse of not going a little distance in the SEC tournament. I thought we pitched okay, but not great. I thought we hit okay, but not great. I thought we were shaking on defense at times, but we were able to win. And then I thought we really got better each game. I think Samuel Dutton's performance on the mound in game 2 was just so gutsy. He started well and then was a little shaky in the middle innings. And instead of just letting it go off the rails, he steadied the ship. He kept pounding the zone. He throws 4 pitches for strikes, and he just kept mixing them and eventually got through it and gave us, I can't remember, 6 or 7 innings, whatever it was, over 100 pitches, and allowed us to save bullpen and get Ryan Hetzler into the game, who closed it down. I thought we started finding ourselves a little bit in game 2 offensively as well, swinging the bats a little bit better. Ike Irish, big home run there to end it. But Bub Terrell, who's the MVP, another good game. It just seemed like the only guy who didn't have a decent game was Rembert, who's been so awesome for us the whole year, and he was 0 for 5, which leads me into game 3. And man, if you got some young players listening, even if you got some old players listening, just the ability to not let a negative performance or a bad performance affect the next day is such a mentally, a key to being mentally tough. And for Chris Rembert to go 0 for 5, and then the first batter of the game, he sends an absolute missile over the second baseman's head and is 4 for his first 4 in that game, and just set a tone for us the whole game. But him and Bub and Ike getting 11 hits between those two, 1, 2, 3 in our order. And then Chase Fralick has been so clutch for us down in the lineup. We kind of hide him in the 8 hole, but as good a hitter as anybody we have, and come up with a couple clutch hits too. So, and then holy smoke, Alvarez's performance as a freshman, game 3 of the regionals, to lead the game in the 7th inning with no runs on the board. You just tip your hat to that young man.
I was going to go there with Alvarez, Coach, because they were popping around on squeeze play, and I honestly didn't know he was a freshman. He didn't look like a freshman out there, Coach.
No, our freshman class on the mound and at the plate has been pretty special. And as with really 99.9% of all freshmen, you're going to have your ups and downs, and he has. He's thrown some great games for us. He struggled at times, but he was the man, and he's got 3 pitches. And the biggest key in those moments, the thing that you absolutely have to do is to throw strikes. And what gets teams in trouble in the postseason so often is they get a starter out there who can't find the zone, and then you have to unload your whole bullpen to try to finish a game. And you just can't do that in a postseason where you're going to have to play maybe 3 or 4 games to get it. Sometimes 3, 4, or 5 games to get out of a regional, and you burn a bullpen and you just toast everybody, and you're playing catch up the whole time. But he came in the game. huge moment, freshman, game 3, knowing if we win, we clinch the regional title at home. Our stadium is packed out, and fans just created such an atmosphere for us, and he's able to his heart might have been beating out of his chest, but he looked like he was very calm, cool, and collected, and just pitched. One of the keys I tell our guys all the time when you get in the postseason, you get in big games, don't try to do the extra thing. Be who you are. It is good enough. And if it's not good enough, he wouldn't be here. And he was just able to be who he was and pitch like we know he's capable of. Pound the zone. He didn't do anything extraordinary. He just got to his stuff and pitched.
You mentioned the fans, and that thing was packed out. How special was that atmosphere this weekend?
It was really special. I'm obviously school at Auburn. I grew up going to Auburn games. The first game I went to at Auburn, I watched John Powell, if you want to get in the Wayback Machine, strike out the guy that broke the SEC record. It was against LSU. I was sitting in the stands in the bleachers with the porta potties, and there's no stadium at all. I think that was either 93 or 94. And then to watch the stadium be built in 96, to play in it from 99 to 2001. And then these latest, there's been a couple other small additions, and then these latest ones, and to watch almost 8,000 fans per game to get there. And you got, I don't know how many people are on the Monster, but 400, 500, 600 people on the Monster. Guys right behind home plate. They're so close to the action. They're only, about 30 feet or so behind home plate. And then the new section down the right field line packed out, every seat, the new areas that we put up, the Auburn fans, Auburn family, just special. And to be on top of every pitch for the 3 games. And they were late. We didn't get the game started, I don't think, ever until after 7 o'clock, and just invested in every pitch.
I'm Coach, I know you're locked in to your team and for your supers, but goodness gracious, the bracket is bananas, Coach.
It is.
I mean, I cannot help at least want to gauge your temperature. And Wright State is a team that you guys saw earlier in the season as well. But goodness gracious, not to beat Vanderbilt once, but twice up in Nashville.
Well, they had a chance to beat them twice. They beat them once. That opening game, Vandy came back and won.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then Wright State. But they around the country, the people who just tune in kind of to the postseason I don't think they understand the respect that, even though we're the evil empire. I get it. With the SEC, everybody thinks we're overrated, even though we win, whatever it is, 5 of the last national championships with 5 different teams or whatever. Everybody thinks they're overrated till you're a coach or a player that came from another league and they get in our league, and then you realize it's not overrated. Having said that, we have such respect for the teams that we play. We realize how good they're coached. We realize the talent that is out there, because either one or two things. Either we're looking, if they get in the transfer portal, that they might be a part of our next team, or B, they came to one of our schools and maybe couldn't play the freshmen, but we realized how good they were and decided to transfer, and now they're down there with a chip on their shoulder. And they're extremely capable. And everybody realizes that. I don't believe there is a team in our league that lost or won that didn't have the utmost respect for those teams that they were playing. And we certainly did. I mean, Central Connecticut State gave us all we wanted in game 1. Stetson, the same thing. You're talking about an offense and an approach, ability to scrap with 2 strikes, hit the ball the other way, shoot a gap, run the bases, do the small things. I mean, it just such quality baseball. And I'll say this, because I won't throw anybody under the bus, but I don't think there was a moment in our regional where another player tried to show anybody up. There was no yelling. There was no back and forth. There was no huge bat flips. There was no pointing fingers and yelling and screaming and going crazy. And it was awesome. It was 4 teams that got after each other for 3 days. And they did it with respect for the game and each other. And I tip my hat to NC State, Stetson, and Central Connecticut, and our guys as well, because that was a very hard-played, well-played regional. Obviously, we were fortunate to come out on top, but it was none of this Mickey Mouse banana stuff that seems to be going on in a lot of places.
That's well said. Gabe Gross, kind enough to join us here on the drive. One other, just taking a look at the box score and seeing as much as I could, Coach, the NC State game, one walk by your pitching staff with Alvarez and Fisher to 9 walks for NC State. I mean, that is such a, to me, a gigantic stat.
It tells you, I mean, there's very rarely times where you're going to significantly get more free passes than the other team, whether that's walks, hit by pitches, errors, whatever it may be. If you get a significant amount more, that you're going to lose those games. And on the flip side of that, if you give them up more, you're probably going to lose. And so that is a huge telling stat. Now a lot of those came a little later when the game was a little out of hand, but it still was the case. I thought, look, NC State starter had already started in the regional. He got knocked out early, so they brought him back. But, I mean, we put, I think in 3 innings, we put almost 70 pitches in him. We did a great job of 2-strike hitting and forcing him to throw strike after strike after strike. We knew coming through the losers bracket, their pitching staff was going to be taxed, and that starter was plenty capable of running through us a couple times. He had done it the whole year. He had been one of their best guys. And for us to be able to get him out of the game, if we could score a bunch of runs, that's great. But, man, we had the 2-strike hit, and we had to be selective early in the count and without being passive. And I thought we did a fantastic job of that. And it took us till I think it was the 4th inning before we got to him. But banged the ball around a little bit the first 3, just couldn't push a run across, and just kept putting pitches in him. And when we were able to get in their bullpen, like I said, they'd already played 3 games. They had played a very high-scoring game against Stetson early in the day where they had to throw a lot of their arms, and that was a huge key for us in that game, was getting into the bullpen. And when we forced them into that, the walk started adding up.
So didn't the old rule of thumb is a walk equals a run?
I tell you what, it's I think it's 110% of leadoff walk score. It's amazing the free passes, if you track that and who wins and who loses, how often that can be a predictor.
It really is. And I know everybody likes to boil down to one thing to look at, but at that 7th spot in the 4th inning, how much I hear this a lot is hitting is contagious. How true is that, Coach?
It's very true. And because hitting is confidence as well. And when it starts going, number one, the next guy, when you see the guy in front of you get carved up, that doesn't do great things for you. And when you see the guy in front of you barrel a baseball, man, it's like, okay, this guy's very hittable. It just breeds a little more confidence. I think our guys do as good a job as any team I've ever had of communicating as well. That first time through the lineup, there's been a handful. I mean, we've done a good job of getting on guys sometimes early in the first inning. We did that against Central Connecticut State, but man, once we roll through everybody in our lineup and everybody has seen him, our guys are constantly communicating. If you watch our games, when Chris Rembert leads off and he gets out, before he goes back to the dugout, he almost always either runs back by whoever's hitting in the 2-hole and talks to them before they get in the box, and he's going to come see the on-deck hitter, and he's going to tell him, and he's just giving them information. What's the fastball doing? What's the slider doing? Where did he pitch me? What does it look like? We've always got a scouting report. Did it match the scouting report, or is it a little different? Because scouting reports only take you so far, and that getting eyes on the pitcher, that really gets you to the point where now players can start passing down information. And our guys usually do a great job of sharing information, swapping information. I'm in the dugout now, so I'm a part of that process as well. But listening to them urge each other with what I've seen and what this guy's going to do, and is he good, is he not good, and talking to each other in a way that's always about how we're going to attack this guy next. Even if a guy's run through us and it's 2 or 3 innings deep and we haven't done much off of him, there's so many times in those middle innings we wind up getting to somebody because of the positive nature of what we're doing, passing information and just narrowing him down to where we know what he's trying to do, and we can get on top of him. And I thought that happened a little bit in the 4th inning.
What do you know about Coastal Carolina? I mean, in not only hosting a regional, but it's I know there was a lot made on, an incident there. I'm not asking about that, Coach, but more on Coastal Carolina. And what do you know about Coastal, Coach?
They're really good. I know that. I just have been able to just peruse briefly through some of their pitching stuff today, and so I'm not in depth at all with it, but they can really pitch. Their pitching numbers are almost as good as anybody in the country, and the Sun Belt is such a good baseball league. I would think, it'd be hard pressed to say that they're not in the top 4. I know they're not in the Power 4, but they would be right there at probably 4 or 5 as far as a baseball conference in this country. You look at Southern Miss hosting a regional, Coastal hosting a regional as well. That's pretty sporty for a non-Power 4 conference. Both those teams are excellent. They've won 21 straight games. You don't do that. I don't care what level or who you're playing. You don't do that if you're not a quality baseball team. I think they really know how to play the game well. They steal a bunch of bases. They can handle the bats, and so this is as good a challenge as you want coming in. Glad we're at home, but those guys will be tough. They're not going to be scared of coming into an environment like we're going to present, and we're going to have to play some really good baseballs. I think when I look at this, it seems like some tight, low-scoring games where I hit at the right time, a walk at the right time, somebody makes an error is going to be costly. I think it's got the feel of maybe some low-scoring, old-school type baseball games where a late bunt down, a hit and run, a safety squeeze, something like that might make the difference in a ball game.
When is the last time Auburn hosted a super? I feel like it's been a minute.
Well, I mean, if you take this weekend, it'll be the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, we were. There's a couple times we were a national seed, I think in 2003, but didn't get out of the regional.
That's right.
That we would have hosted, and then in Coach Thompson's second year, Florida State came back. They were in the winners bracket, and Florida State came back and got them.
That's
and
right.
I think it was Sam Houston State who had won their regional, and they were a 3 seed, and Auburn was the 2 seed in Tallahassee. And had they won it, they would have hosted the Super that year. Unfortunately, didn't. And the other times that since I've been here, 99, we hosted a regional, won it, but had to go to Florida State and play. That was my freshman year. And then the other times, we beat Georgia Tech, had to go to North Carolina, and we came out of that Super Regional. And then in 22, we hosted, but then had to go to Oregon State and was able to come out of that Super Regional. So this is the first Super Regional. And of course, before 99, there was no Super Regional. So that's a stat that only goes back so far.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Honestly, I remember that trip out to Oregon State and just the conditions out there back in 22. But that was pretty special to win that series.
Yeah, they'd never lost a Super Regional out there. We were the first team and still the only team to I believe to beat them in a Super Regional, and it was. We left Auburn. It's 94 degrees and hot and humid, and we get out to Oregon and it's upper 50s and low 60s and drizzling rain almost the whole time, and everybody's wearing sleeves and sweatshirts again, and we had to stay about an hour and a half away from campus because the track the national track at Oregon, the University of Oregon was going on, and so every hotel room was gone. And so when we got through with games at 10, 11 o'clock, we had an hour and 20-minute bus ride, 30-minute bus ride back to the hotel, and again to come in every day. And so there were some challenges, but that team in 22 was so tough. They were so mentally tough. Sonny DeShera and Blake Rambush and Brody Moore and Cason Howell and those guys just beyond themselves with how mentally strong that team was. It was a tremendous ball club to be a part of.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Coach. I mean, even looking back at the A&M game down in Hoover, you guys lost 3-2. I mean that this team feels very consistent with what you have in terms of offense and defense. Now, I realize scoring 11, yeah, you'll win quite a few of those unless you're playing in Clemson. But that Clemson regional is just bananas.
Crazy.
But I mean, the consistency is kind of my point of just looking at you guys throughout the year, game in and game out. The consistency is there from what I see, Coach.
Well, it's been I as a coach, you're always seeing all the inconsistencies. So I'm glad that you're seeing consistency. But
I'm not looking at it as close as you are, though, Coach.
Yeah, but like I said, I think from a pitching standpoint, there's certain things that give you a chance to win, and if you can come out and throw strikes, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And when you look around this regional, especially, Dutton always fills the strike zone up, nearly always fills the strike zone up. Alvarez did it. Fisher, I think, threw one of his highest strike percentages he's thrown all year long in relief of Alvarez. But, when Myers came in and finally settled in Friday night, he always throws a lot of strikes. You have to fill the strike zone up to be consistent from a pitching staff point of view. And I felt like we really did that. Hetzler always throws a lot of strikes as well. And then you have to play consistent defense. Fabian at shortstop is been the field general for us. He just is so steady, makes the routine play over and over again. Guevara was all SEC defense at third base. Eric Snow's that way, and Rembert in the infield. They've all played a very, very high level of defense. And then if you look around the outfield and you start talking about Bub Terrell and either Bristol Carter or Cade Ballew's been banged up a little bit in the outfield along with Ike Irish. Like there's not a whole lot of outfields that can go get it more than our guys can. That a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, and that when you're not giving teams walks and you're not making errors or not making bad plays or not getting the balls you can in the outfield, and they have to earn everything they get. It makes it tough. And then the thing that I think offensively that we've been better at down the stretch, and we still got to keep getting better at it, is defining the strike zone early in the count, where we're not making outs on pitches early in the count that we don't have really a chance to do damage with. And then the thing that we have been pretty good at most of the year is two-strike hitting. And I mentioned that earlier with the game at NC State, of just putting pitches in pitchers, continuing to fight, cutting swings down, being able to see the baseball a little bit longer, shooting fastballs the other way, and when they hang a breaking ball, let it speed your barrel up a little bit. And Chris Rembert's hit 10 home runs, and I'm just going off a feel. I don't have this stat in front of me, but I would guess that 5 to 7 of them have been with two strikes on hanging breaking balls, where he's fought pitches off, and then a guy trying to make the best slider of his life squeezes it a little too much, and it just sits there in the middle of the plate, and he gets to his pull side. And I think there's a little 10-foot section in our scoreboard netting that Chris has hit about 5 home runs. It's been like the same place over and over again, and it's just been on hanging breaking balls that he's trying to do a great job with two strikes, and it speeds his bat up, and before you blink, it's gone.
It's pretty easy. It's easier for me to hear that sound in Major League Baseball when a guy just hits it and consistently hits it, and that's going a long way. I will occasionally hear that out of Ike Irish, where I know it's completely different bat and all that, but do you hear what I'm talking about when it comes off of Ike's bat, Coach?
I absolutely. There's some different quality sounds. There's no doubt about that. And we've got some guys that can hit the ball hard, but the consistency of his swing, the consistency of his compete gene, he's been here for 3 years. In 3 years, no matter the score, the outs, or anything else going on in the game, or what he's doing, whether he's 4 for 4, over 4, I've never seen him take a mental break on a pitch. Not one pitch that I think this kid isn't locked in and giving everything mentally that he has right now. I've never thought, man, you better get him back going again. Man, he's lost. He's just out of it. Not one pitch in 3 years has he given away because he wasn't mentally locked into what he's doing. And yes, when he gets one, especially like the one he got on Sunday, there's a different echo coming off the bat. That ball was sent into orbit.
You know exactly what I was referencing. I appreciate that, Coach. I can't even imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like this weekend, but enjoy it and obviously get locked in because everyone's got Omaha on their mind, Coach.
Well, it's obviously I'm going to revert back to being coach, and we got Coastal Carolina on our mind, and I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight, and we need everybody that wears orange and blue to try to get a ticket into that game and to be loud and crazy and give us a great atmosphere, because this is absolutely going to be a dogfight. Coastal Carolina is a tremendous ball club. They have our full attention. I love our ball club. We're going to go out and we're going to compete at a high level. I know that. We're going to fight. We're going to claw. We're going to scrap. We're going to compete, and we'll look up at the end of this thing and see where we are. But it's exciting. I'm so excited to have played at Auburn and now getting to coach under Coach Thompson at Auburn, and to see this program continue to grow, and to just think about hosting a super and the crowd and what these guys are going to get to play under, and the experience for everybody, I think, is going to be second to none. And I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to go compete.
Enjoy it, Coach. I always appreciate the time, sir.
Thank y'all very much. Y'all do a great job, man. Y'all need something else from me, holler.
Thank you, Coach. War Eagle to you there, Coach.
Yeah, War Eagle.
That is, the Auburn baseball team.
You're just throwing them in the river, Steve.
Am I?
Yes, totally.
I've
seen this before. Yes.
So Auburn baseball is. Do we need to get the Chanticleers on so we can talk glowingly about the Coastal Carolina bunch? There was some news coming out of that regional. I don't know if you saw Kevin O'Sullivan. I can't play it. Anyway, that there was an incident to the point where the skipper of Coastal Carolina, the regional host, came out and just bashed Kevin O'Sullivan because of, well, I'll let you listen to what the Coastal Carolina coach had to say.
What happened?
There's conflicting reports, but there is some audio of Kevin O'Sullivan going off on the assistant athletic director at Coastal Carolina. I'm not sure exactly why he went off on him, but anyway, really appreciate Gabe Gross for hopping in. We do need to take our first time out. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number if you'd like to participate. So let's head off to our first time out.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here with you on The Drive. So, I did get a tweet, someone saying, yes, definitely talk up the Chanticleers. So I will do my best.
Reminds me of the time you said Auburn had no chance to win.
That was a basketball game against Xavier.
What you were doing? It was pick 2.
Yeah, it was pick 2.
You did a line.
Remember pick 2?
Yeah, that's been a long time.
So the answer to the question, tempers reached a boiling point Sunday in the regional that was ultimately won by the Chanticleers. On Sunday, this story I'm reading from ESPN.com, Florida baseball coach Kevin O'Sullivan had his team prepped to face East Carolina in what was an elimination game for both squads. A video was released on Coach O'Sullivan losing his ever-loving mind because the NCAA tournament, the television networks control when each game will start due to ESPN having the broadcast right. But the decision to push the Gators and Pirates back an hour came after Saturday night's game between Coastal Carolina and East Carolina ended near midnight. So tournament officials wanted to give East Carolina an additional hour of rest before taking the field on Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, it sounds like that message was not relayed to Kevin O'Sullivan. His team arrived at the park waiting on their opponent. Now, we don't know if that has yet to be substantiated, but nonetheless, Coach O'Sullivan not happy, and to the point where the first-year head coach for Coastal Carolina, the tournament host, came out and, well, had this to say about Kevin O'Sullivan's rant to the assistant athletic director at Coastal Carolina.
One last thing I have is I have to say this. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I believe in standing up for what's right. And what transpired this morning on our field, another coach disrespected our associate AD, who works as hard as anybody in our entire program. He disrespected our field crew, who are the salt of the earth. These guys would do anything for our program. It's not okay. and this needs to be brought up. Absolutely disrespectful. As a coach, it's our job to mentor young kids. And the way he treated the 2 site reps, the way he treated our associate AD, the way he treated our field crew is absolutely unacceptable. And that's what I'm most disappointed about. This is a national champion coach who thinks he can come in here and try to bully people around. Disappointed. Somebody that a lot of coaches look up to. For him to act that way, really disappointed. He disrespected a Hall of Fame coach who's the site rep here. That's all I got to say.
So now Coastal heading to the Plains.
So what did the Florida coach say? He
didn't.
He was upset with
them
because
pushing
they
it
pushed
back
an hour.
I don't know if they asked him post game. I've not listened to that post game press conference, but I will during the next break just to make sure and cover my bases. But not
This is sound like
this
an
is 1
MMA
hour.
fundraiser.
This is 1 hour. They pushed it back one. And listen, it's an elimination game. Emotions are high. It's the NCAA tournament. I get that, but it's an hour. It's 60 minutes. So it's not as if you're getting to the park 2.5 hours before you're supposed to. So there's
so
that
was
story.
Today or yesterday?
That was yesterday, Sunday.
So Florida won?
No. Florida. If you're a fan of an SEC baseball team, Arkansas's through, Auburn's through, and that's it for right now.
But Ole Miss is playing.
Ole Miss is playing Murray State tonight, and then LSU and UALR, the Trojans from Arkansas Little Rock, taking on LSU tonight for the right to move on to the Supers. But yeah, Georgia got eliminated. Vanderbilt got eliminated. Texas got eliminated.
Didn't they get eliminated by Texas San Antonio?
They did. Road Runners.
The Road Runners got
Road Runners. Me.
Yeah, you get beat up by your little brother.
I mean,
run over by your little brother.
That's not my childhood.
Speaking of enjoying L's, boy, if you're a fan of if you are a fan of enjoying teams out of the Big Apple getting a big old L, boy, Saturday was right in it was at least in my wheelhouse. Knicks lost, and then the Yankees lose to the Dodgers 18-2.
What about the poor?
Ouch. Yeah, 18-2.
What about the Rockies? The poor Colorado Rockies.
Well, I will circle it around over to the Braves, who lost another series, this time to the Red Sox. The Braves have a better record than 3 National League teams: Marlins, Pirates, and Rockies. That's it. But, it's still relatively early. It's June.
I don't think they have a prayer this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can we go back to 2021 in June? I
said they'd be okay that year.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember. Because they weren't playing bad. You watch them play now, and I don't know anything about baseball. I don't even. I asked one question. One reason is I don't like to watch baseball. Not unless I can't sleep. And the other thing is, but you watch the Braves, and they play with no passion. They look like they're just out there because they have to be. That's the way they play. I mean, you look at a bat. I mean, it's just like there's no fire. Tell me I'm wrong.
Braves aren't losing tonight.
Not playing.
They are not playing. We've got 2 hours in store for you as the D-backs are coming into town tomorrow night. But don't worry, Braves fans. Braves are not losing. Just nice to know we were well represented at Affiliate Day yesterday there in Marietta. I had no idea that it was Affiliate Day yesterday, but
yeah, me neither.
Tom Abraham got to see Crochet 12 strikeouts against the Braves yesterday. So I'm sure the Yankee lover that is Tom Abraham really enjoyed watching the Boston Red Sox just carve up the Braves.
Isn't that the second game he's been to this year?
Yeah.
Because they were there when Talking Ball was there too.
That's right. Yeah, the day game. Yeah.
Where
He's
where
just
he elbowed into the blitz.
It's just this is just
how the trash pan is doing.
They just had somebody called up
Yeah.
first of the week. It's getting to be where you get into June and a parent club starts needing folks, and
the Angels are getting better, but there was only one way to go.
Well, they've got some more talent coming out of Huntsville.
Yes, they do.
And you'll hear them tomorrow night
over on
sister station, Talk Radio WZZN.
Boom.
First pitch 6 o'clock.
I cannot wait till media days.
He says on June 2nd, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not that far away.
A little over a month.
Yeah.
You better go ahead and book our everything that we need.
Yeah,
because Major League Baseball All-Star Game, just like last year, it was in Dallas. This year, it's in Atlanta.
Well, there you go.
Saddle up. Let's saddle up for our final timeout. Drew DeArmond is in the on-deck circle, plus which, and I agree with what Joel Klatt said about the 5+11. I'll have that for you on the other side.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your Your shingles, we can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At the Huntsville Sports Commission, we do sports. The Rocket City is your destination for world-class sports in North Alabama. The Huntsville Sports Commission brings elite tournaments, championships, and other exciting athletic events to our city. From youth leagues to national championships, we're driving tourism, boosting local business, and building a stronger, more active community. When you team up with us, we'll worry about the details so you don't have to. We do sports.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Quiet and mostly clear for this Monday night. Low temperatures going to be falling into the upper 60s. Tuesday, another afternoon full of sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 80s. Rain returns back to the forecast on Thursday. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Back here with you on the drive. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. It's a busy weekend for the Moulton household as took the wife over to Athens, Georgia, not Athens, Alabama. It was the introduction. She's transferring into the University of Georgia. So they did the tour today as that happened. So then I had some time to kill Sunday morning. I ended up watching some tennis over there and for the French Open. It's been a minute since I've been locked into a game, but Alcaraz played Shelton, and I'm telling you, that first set, I was all in. I mean, I was all in. And it got to a tie break. Shelton had an opportunity. He had a mini break in the first tiebreaker. I think the only tiebreaker. Yeah, he won in 4 sets. But then a little half volley went right into the net, and then all of a sudden, Alcaraz is Alcaraz. Yeah, he just cannot give a guy like that multiple opportunities. But that first set, he won the first set tiebreaker 10-8. So, but moves on to play Paul, another American. 2 Americans reached the quarterfinals of the French Open for the first time since 1996. That's almost as much as back when I cared about tennis. It was back in 1996.
Well, of course, that Brian Shelton's dad is from is it Brian Shelton?
Ben Shelton is the kid, but Brian
the dad,
is, and
from Huntsville.
They earpieced the dad and had a little back and forth with him after the first set. I mean, he was right there, and Alcaraz he's listed as the 2 seed, but I mean,
it seems like Brian has trouble late in matches. He's lost a lot in the very end of matches.
That second set, you could tell that took a lot of juice out of him. Lost 6-3, then won 6-4.
I said Brian. It probably takes a lot out of Brian too.
It took a lot out of me.
And then lost in the 4th set 6-4. So a very entertaining first set, but it's nice to see some American flags go a little deeper in these majors. I go USA. Trudy Armand coming up next.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Center. I'm Nick DeLuca. Monday in Major League Baseball, just one game in progress. You might want to look away. The Rockies and the Marlins in Miami. Colorado 9-50 this season, on pace for the most losses in a season in Major League history at 137. A setback tonight would tie the 1876 Cincinnati Red Stockings for the second worst start through 60 decisions in a season in Major League history, trailing only, you, I'm sure, remember them, the 1884 Kansas City Unions, who were 7-53. 2-1 Marlins, bottom of the first. Tyro Estrada, RBI double for the Rockies. Augustine Ramirez with an RBI ground out. Otto Lopez adding an RBI single to give Miami the lead. Max Meyer and Herman Marquez, the pitching matchup. Miami minus 200 on ESPN Bet. The NBA Finals just a few days away. Pacers and Thunder kick off their series on Thursday night. Oklahoma City, the big favorite, coming in minus 750 to take home the title on ESPN Bet. The Pacers plus 525 coming in, and ESPN's Monica McNutt thinks Indiana should be taken more seriously.
I know the debate is common whether or not Tyrese Halliburton has reached star status, and I get that. But whether he has or haven't, Indiana is a sum of their parts. And their parts are young, fast, and connected. And it's just a good, fun brand of basketball.
McNutt on game night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the favorite to take home finals MVP after winning regular season MVP. Game one tip-off, 8:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio Thursday.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, my head coach, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, rejected the idea that our quarterback Jordan Love regressed in 2024. I'll tell you whether or not I agree with him. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll, and I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Hour number 2 rolls along here on a Monday. Tomorrow we are in studio. This is our production meeting right here. Wednesday we're at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And then on Thursday, Full Moon Barbecue. As Drudy Armand kind enough to sit in with us. We missed you last week.
Yeah, you guys,
we missed you last week.
You guys had fun on the beach, huh? Right next to Fine Bomb.
So, Steve, did you go out to the beach at all?
Not one of my toes touched the sand.
Well, I thought.
Gotcha. Steve was
That's a
recording a
shame.
lot of stuff, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, somebody had to do some work there.
Yeah, he was the
right.
audio king.
The 5+11 is more or less the big story of the week.
Who knows if they'll even do it? I mean, why are we talking? I mean, they make this big deal about this is getting legs and this. We've been hearing all this stuff forever.
Well, I my favorite tweet of the week, and of course, in between he got married. But Josh Pate saying that Greg Sankey and the SEC are going to rope everybody into taking the 5 and 11 format, and
Joel Klatt does not like the 5+11 format.
He doesn't like anything. Like it is better to me than the 4-4-2-2 thing. But I mean,
Yeah. Here is Joel Klatt on why he does not like the 5+11.
Last week, a growing push from the SEC, and unfortunately in this regard, because it's totally against their interests, the Big 12 is a 5+11 model. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, each conference in the Power Four would get an automatic berth. You'd get an automatic berth for the highest ranked Group of 5 champion, and then you would have 11 spots that were just totally at large, including Notre Dame. If they were to qualify, they would obviously grab one of those at-large spots, but then it would be left to what we have seen up until this point in the college football playoff, which is it would be committee-driven. Now, truth be told, when I see this and when I hear this, it makes me want to throw up. I think that this is awful for college football on so many different levels. So many different levels. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. How can you earn it on the field when you're trying to put basically the entire playoff in the boardroom of the college football playoff committee?
I think that's valid. And I mean, when you take a look
How
at the boardroom,
let me ask you a question. How is that any different than what we did last year?
And how do you
Please
take it out
tell
of the
me
committee?
how it's more different than it is last year.
My question to Klatt would be, how do you take it out of a committee's hands? They select the NCAA basketball tournament by committee. They select the baseball tournament by committee. They select the softball tournament by committee. Pretty much every team sport is selected
So
by
Steve,
committee.
how do you think they ought to do it?
Yeah.
So
That's different.
The one thing that was brought up, and it was by Dan Wetzel as well as Barry Trammell, who spoke to me down at the beach, is how hockey does it, where there is a computer involved, but there is also a committee that more or less supervises what the algorithm puts out.
Well, they're supposed to be looking at that stuff anyway. Obviously, they did last year.
Well,
Yeah.
and hey,
Well, I don't like either one of the ways to do it. So
I don't know if you're going to agree with me here, but they already complained about computers with the BCS. Okay, and they didn't think the computers were doing the right thing.
I
like
liked the BCS.
I did too, because the computer spit out Alabama and LSU, and everybody else threw up.
Yeah, but you got to remember how much noise was made when the BCS started.
Yeah.
And now we're missing it.
Well, so
I mean, that was most
we're missing the fact that they had the computers. What computers do is they take the strength of schedule is one of the main functions of the computers.
Well, we know that we know the ACC and the Big Ten are going to run like hell away from that.
So Greg Sankey said this about the 12 team.
12 team, really.
And this is a little back and forth with Dan Patrick as well. This was this morning on the Dan Patrick Show about the 12 team that we're going to have this year and moving forward.
Well, I've been one who said over time, I'd give no allocation. So this whole 5-7 thing that exists now, I just make it the 12 best teams. And I was clear on that. Now, when we get into rooms, we make political compromises, if you will, small p, not like Congress political compromises, but to achieve an outcome.
But who decides on the top 12 teams?
Selection committee. Yeah. But here's what I think. I think we've spent so much time expanding and working through our own little side arguments about teams and, we can't do this. We need this. You got to protect this bowl game or that bowl game. We never went back to the essence of decision making, which is how are teams selected. As everyone relocated over the last 4 or 5 years, do the analyses that existed and worked for the 14 playoff in 2014 still have the same relevance? And we're behind that curve, in my opinion. That's why other ideas are introduced and considered. And we've looked at ideas, this allocation of, it's called automatic bids. That's such a harsh term. I think allocations is one where I like that word, because we already allocated. And look at last year. We had 2 teams not in the top 4 that get to move up because of the political compromise. We have a team outside the 12 that moves in, And then the teams that are displaced look around and say, hey, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense any longer. That introduces the questions around, should that model continue, or should that allocation model expand where other teams are brought in?
I agree with him. I'd rather see just the top 12 teams play.
Open up if it is 16, I'm going to go back to Lane Kiffin. Let's just the 16 best teams. But you're putting a lot on a committee if that is where ultimately the rubber hits the road.
Not really. They got it right. I thought they've gotten it right more than they haven't. In my opinion, last year I thought was ridiculous because there's no. What I don't like about last year is the fact that they didn't take strength of schedule at all.
Yeah,
and that was obvious.
Yeah.
And how do you have 12 teams and not use strength of schedule? And some of these teams didn't play anybody, hardly anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I would say nobody.
Indiana, SMU, nobody.
Regular season is already being affected by what we've seen. Well, I don't know if Wake Forest pulled out by what happened because that news happened
Wake
even
Forest
way before.
got their butts beat. I mean, they got the paddle.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to go to
Nebraska
Oxford next year.
Pulled out of the home and home with Tennessee.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
and not Louisiana Lafayette beat Wake Forest at home, even though Wake Forest they threw 5 or 6 people out of the game for Louisiana Lafayette.
Did they?
I thought they were going to put Connor in there for a minute.
Oh, well.
That'd be an unfair advantage.
Well, I mean, certainly, I do think that the strength of schedule has to be a part of it. I still think the 5 and 11's got some merit. I think there needs to be some sort of. I didn't think it needs to be a half and half. There needs to be, of course, a committee because there's a committee in every other sport. But I think there needs to be a strength of schedule component, a computer component. I think there's RPIs in baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
And what Kirby said last week when you guys were down there, I agreed with. Why is nobody's raising hell when the SEC got 13 in baseball and everyone in softball, but all of a sudden, oh my God, what if they get 6 in football? Well, boo-hoo-hoo. I can't help it that you stink. That's my reaction.
I just think 16 teams too many. I'll go. I think 8's enough. 8 is enough. It was a show.
That's never going to happen.
Well, the reason I think they're doing 16 is, of course, West won the money, and 2 is, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what they do in the FCS? Excuse me, the FCS. Isn't that a 16-team bracket?
16 Division II does that as well. So does D3.
They're basically carbon copying.
Yeah, name 3 teams in that last year.
I know what you're saying. I understand. It's watered down.
Ferris State won, but I mean,
you can't name the other 2.
I said name 3
State. Name the 3.
All I would say on D3 is Mount Union or somebody of that ilk, or Wisconsin.
There's a Whitewater. Yeah, I'm sure there's a Whitewater reference at some point.
Yeah, ask Nate Oates.
Yeah.
So, but again, I just think overall there has to be a kind of a happy medium there. And again, you knew this was going to happen. They were going. This was the first year of an expanded field a year ago, and now, and I figured 16 was what was ultimately going to be the final outcome because more people wanted a piece of the pie and a chance at the apple. Though I still think the SEC is going to dominate it. Now, the Big Ten has had 2 good years and won the championship. Now, Ari Wasserman, is that the clown's name from On 3? Basically saying that the Big Ten's better than the SEC.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's smoking. But look at the bottom of the Big Ten and the bottom of the SEC. You can't compare the 2 leagues. I'm sorry, Ari. I understand that the Big Ten won the playoff. All right, but you can't. The Big Ten is not as deep as the SEC. It's just not.
Not even close.
I mean, and then I Indiana opened themselves up for this, but I saw Signetti's out of conference schedule next year.
That ESPN show needs to go away.
I mean,
as much as and we use it for show content here on the program when we get to late October and into November, that show needs to go away. Because if anything, it just puts them in a bind I mean, we did see what they did to TCU that first year.
Well, you're talking about the unveiling.
Yeah,
I think it shouldn't start until November. I think it's.
I would like to see what we have in basketball, which is the committee is looking at these teams and not necessarily just the top teams that they're looking at.
Not by seed, but then by
exactly
the top 16 teams. And then you could maybe start that in mid-October, but I just don't really think you should start doing anything.
I would do it mid-November.
Yeah.
And I know there is plenty of eyeballs on that show probably, and it makes a decent amount of money.
I know, but I just think November is when the rubber starts meeting the road. And then because look, nobody when last season started, for example, nobody had SMU or Indiana making the playoffs.
Arizona State.
Well, Arizona State went in that league.
Yeah.
Now, Boise, because they've been a good program, and you're going to have a group of 5. They were in a handful of teams that people were watching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but as you said, Arizona State, I think they were picking near dead last in the pack.
Right.
I knew I'd say that. The Big 12, and then of course, and in Indiana, they hadn't been good for a while. I mean, but Cignetti, I think he even admitted it, he and his wife, when he took the job and he left James Madison, he said, I looked at the schedule.
Yeah.
So he knew, that he could win the first year.
Yeah.
And then SMU, Rhett Lashlee's done a good job. Okay. But nobody had them reaching the ACC championship game and then almost beating Clemson. That was, but matter of fact, Florida State was supposed to be good, remember? And they imploded.
Right out of the gate.
And then, they were in Ireland against Georgia Tech, and it was just DJ Uiagalelei. It was bad. I mean, and for Hugh's sake, that better not be Jackson Arnold. Because if it is, my man's in trouble. He may be going back to Conference USA.
So here is I mentioned about agreeing with Joel Klatt. I don't there is one sentence in particular that Joel put this is his show on YouTube for those that want to check it out. But there's one sentence in particular to me that stands out like a sore thumb.
Because actually what the 5-11 model does is hurt the sport. It does not make the sport better. It certainly hurts the Big 12. There's no doubt about it. But because it hurts the Big 12, it also hurts the sport. Because what would be good for college football is if we continued to have more conferences that were relevant.
Do you agree with that? What is good for college football is more conferences that are relevant.
Well, they have.
I would say what's good for college football is good teams.
Yes. Don't
reward mediocrity or soft schedules.
Relevant. At whose expense?
Colorado Buffaloes, because they're in the Big 12, and that's where Joel Klatt played football, and he loves Coach Prime.
Talking them up.
Yeah.
Year 2 of Dion.
Yeah. Daddy ball in the rear view. What's going to happen?
Year 2, this is like 3 or 4, isn't it?
Well, no, I'm just saying the Suns are gone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what's he going to do without the Suns to showcase and the best player in the country? And I think we all agree he was the best player. I mean, come on, Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was. I'm not arguing. He deserved the Heisman. That's who I would have voted for.
I did
by the end of the season. So
I
got no problem with that. But you don't have him. You don't have your 2 sons that you wanted to showcase, who both, Shedeur had an outstanding
career. So you
career.
think they're going to be better or worse?
Worse. Because unless one of these 2 quarterbacks is, Salter was good at Liberty, but he was not. He washed out at Tennessee, mostly due to off the field stuff. And then Juju Lewis is talented, but he's a freshman. So that makes me wonder how good Colorado. And
they were 9-4 last year.
And they improved last year. But here's the but. Both seasons they weren't very good up front on the offensive and defensive lines. And Shedeur kind of made chicken salad out of what.
Mm-hmm.
At least I thought. Because I thought Shedeur was a good player. I didn't think he was a first-round pick, but I thought he was a really good player. So and they didn't run the football. You already heard everybody talk about it. Their leading rusher the last 2 years has been like 350 yards. So they were very one-dimensional, and they weren't very good on defense. And if you take Travis Hunter out of the equation, kind of scares you a little bit. So I don't know. I would say Colorado will be lucky to be in a bowl game.
Colorado's schedule is host Georgia Tech out of the gate, then Delaware, at Houston, host Wyoming, host BYU, at TCU, host Iowa State. Their first open date is on October the 18th. Down the stretch we go with at Utah, host Arizona, at West Virginia, open date, host Arizona State, and at Kansas State is the schedule for the Buffaloes.
I mean, I just don't have high expectations.
Is Julian Lewis going to be the quarterback?
To me, they brought in Salter to be the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Liberty guy.
That's what I was talking about. He was at Tennessee and he washed out.
Yep.
And then at some point, could it be Julian Lewis? Yeah, but I would think they brought in Salter to be the quarterback. So
they're saying Julian Lewis will be the quarterback next year.
He may be at some point.
We'll see.
Ted is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can call in too at 256-576-4977. How are you, Ted?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a question for Wes. Wes, because you played at the college level and the pro level, and how many games can these guys play physically? I mean, how long will their bodies take that pounding each year?
Well, I think that you're going to have more injuries. 100%. The more games you play, the more injuries you have.
With 105 roster, potentially.
See, we talk about this, and where are they going to get 30 players between now and the next year, Steve? They're not going to be. So they got an 85 scholarship limit right now, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
They can pay walk-ons if they want to, but I don't think there are enough players to find, to be honest with you.
And that's why they got to fix the portal. To me, that's why they've got to restrict some movement, because there's too much. These guys move. Wes always talks about it hurting yourself, hurting your own brand, because you move 3 or 4 times in 5 years and you don't really establish yourself.
Well, back to Ted's question, though, how many games is too many games?
I think they played too many last year. So they're going to go to 16 games.
No, 16 is what both teams ended up with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's too many.
It would have been 17 had
Look
Texas
at all the
made
people with the serious injuries last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Georgia was shelled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I almost think no, but they won't do it because it would probably take away a home game, which is a lot of money for no matter who it is. But I almost wish they would go back to a 10-game regular season and chop off 2.
You know the answer to that.
Yeah, because the money they're not going to.
Yeah, they can't. Well, now they're kind of trapped,
right?
Because they're paying these people, the players, and they, it's hard to feel sorry for them because they're getting paid,
right?
But yeah, how many's too many? They all this talk about graduation and protecting the players and targeting and all, that's all out the window. I mean, it's a joke. It's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health.
How many total college games would be played now if a team goes to the national championship?
Well,
if it's 16,
if they play in their conference championship game, win or lose,
that's 13 games.
And they would, and they are in the first round of the college football playoff and make their way to the championship game. The most would be 17 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
At 16 teams?
17. If you factor in.
You mean 16-team playoff, though. But if you have a 16-team playoff,
Total of 17 games to win a national championship.
And they play in the
NFL
right now. They're playing 17 regular season games, and then you can play 20 to 21.
Texas would have played 17 had they won in their semifinal game last year. That was their 16th game.
Yeah,
losing in the semis.
They didn't win in baseball. They didn't win. They barely made the NCAA tournament.
Okay, so if you really want to go there,
then they didn't.
Come on now, they're O2 barbecue.
Yeah, well, they did, and Alabama is O2 barbecue, but Texas was dang close, and Texas.
To the road runners. The road runners.
And I'll just say this, and he's a guy that I really want to get on the show at some point because I just love listening to him. Because he's very, very good on the air. But, Ben McDonald put it succinctly last night to Dave Neal. He looked at him and he goes, This is why baseball is the greatest sport on earth. And he's watching his alma mater get racked by Little Rock at the time.
Ted, my apologies for getting off on that.
So
rant.
they're Rosanna Downer today.
Yeah.
Usually I do it.
But you're right.
Let me
it's a
say
long
this,
season.
Ted. Let me say this. What happened to 3 or 4 years ago, where everybody said we had to have targeting rules? We had all these rules because football is in jeopardy, right?
Right.
Football is in jeopardy because
That's
of
before
all
we
these
paid them.
injuries.
That's before we paid them.
What happened to football's in jeopardy? Why don't we? Well,
money.
Yes,
Exactly. Money. And don't forget Dan Woken and Stuart Mandel, who blocked me, said people would die on the field during COVID right after it. They said that. So don't forget. I mean, they wanted to cancel a whole season.
You got anything else for us, Ted?
Well, Devontae Smith, I've read an article concerning him some time ago, and someone asked him at the end of the year what he's going to do in the off season, and he said sleep.
There you go.
and he said, I'm done. I'm wore out, and he said, I'm going to sleep.
An NFL team, and you're undersized like he is.
Yeah.
I mean, it wears you out. No question. I mean, those guys have to get up, especially if you're injured. They're probably having to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock every day, like a lot of people have to do. I'm not saying, but a lot of people don't have these guys that are going to smash them when they get there. So I mean, it's just a lot to it, a lot to learn every year. It's you're working 7 days a week, basically. Even in your off time, you're trying to keep your body. You still have to work out, and your off time's 1 day.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to it, and the coaches are the same thing. They're grinding, they're staying up. I mean, a lot of the coaches, I say a lot, some of the coaches during camp don't even go home. They just sleep on their couch.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And another thing too, when you think now, if Hugh Freeze and other coaches have talked about this, if spring games go away or whatever, and spring football keeps changing, and it turns into like an OTAs thing, like they're doing in the NFL right now, pretty much the college season is going to mirror the NFL, and it's going to with length almost, and with the way they handle the offseason.
What they're doing right now, I mean, so having these kids in coaching, I know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
They're right now their players just got back. They're going through what basically are OTAs, unofficial OTAs. They have the campers are in now, and they're having official visits.
Yep.
So it's 24/7 for those guys for the next 4 weeks, 7 days a week.
And then the thing that's harder and different about the college game right now is the portal windows and having to manage how recruiting is being done because of NIL and all the stuff that has no guardrails on it. And the contract, there is no contracts. They just walk away.
Well, there is a contracts one way though.
Yeah, exactly. One way.
Yeah, it's just for the colleges.
Right.
They have to come through, but the players don't, which is ludicrous. So.
Hey, I'll listen. Thanks for taking my call, but I've been curious about that for some time. I mean, how much can the body take? And 95, 97% of these college players will never go pro.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's more like 98, 99. Yeah. And the ones that do will average,
2 to 3 years. Yeah.
3 years. That's the average player, not for
Funny you go there, Ted, because Commissioner Sankey went there today as well. I'll appreciate the phone call, sir.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll play. The question was, what keeps you up at night? To which the commissioner said, if it was only one thing, I would sleep like a baby.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Well,
I'm going to tell you, wait till you get to my age, which I hate to say that. I've been dreading it. But, so I started in 48 games, college. And now, if you just play on a different team, a decent team, you're going to start in 60. That's if you don't get the 5th, 5th, and 6th year like some of these guys are getting. But you're gonna. I need a shoulder replaced. my good friends just had both his hips replaced. I mean, it's
real.
It's real. So I mean, I would do it again, no question. But the other
There's
thing,
the cost.
yeah, but I want to change the subject a little bit because this is what's really another thing's happening is I've been told these agents are charging 20 or 30%.
Yeah.
The way they're inducing, they're starting to pay these high school players like $5,000 a month
Yeah.
to get them on the string.
Kirby was talking about that down in Destin of just he called it the scary part.
Yeah, that is so scary. There's so much things going on, and it's kind of what I've been predicting what is going to happen, and it's going to get worse if they don't do something.
Let's take our first time out. Jordy Arman here with us. What keeps the commissioner up at night? That is next, as well as your phone calls.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back to the Drive.
Yeah, back here on the Drive.
He's Steve. He's Wes. He's Rudy Armin.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Central. Spinning stack the wax with all the right tracks.
Yeah.
They're doing a little production meeting there. A little.
We're doing our own thing in here.
I'm just letting the record play. You know.
I hear you.
I am adding what I can add to this conversation.
There you go.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number. I'm going to, a little bit later on, J.C. Latham. Did you?
I haven't seen these, but I heard about them.
He was on Bussin' with the Boys, a podcast, but went through exactly what it's like to go through a Nick Saban spring and even a summer workout. I'll have that for you.
Well, and I just happened to stumble upon a conversation on Facebook with Bradley Silva, Alphonse Shank Taylor, and Brandon Lewis.
Yeah.
Going back in the day about 110s. And that was a very interesting conversation. And, you got to be able to decipher what they're talking about, but you could tell. And needless to say, I don't think Shank ever made the times.
What keeps the commissioner up at night?
I wake up every day on issues around the relationship with our student athletes. And that's both the economic relationship. I'm concerned about the lifelong impact, about the amount of money that flows into somebody's life when the emotional maturity may not be there. You know, how do you go take a $50,000 entry level job and we run these ads that 98% of the people on the athletic fields or courts or tracks are going pro in something else, and you've had your own personal economics or value inflated? How do you learn those lifelong lessons? I think the transfer environment is linked to that. Perhaps the inability to walk through some of the difficult moments in life. Hey, it's not every transfer is a problematic transfer, and I speak as somebody who transferred a couple of times. You're trying to figure it out, especially if you're a first generation college student. Like, you don't have somebody pulling you aside and helping you understand, hey, maybe if you stick it out, build your legacy in one place, receive some economic benefit, have educational and relational continuity, you come out as a more prepared adult for what's next in life. The combination of those factors, the economic relationship, the transfer decisions, and then the lifelong impacts that come from that we're not going to know for a while, those are at the top of what keeps me up at night.
Academics.
They still go to school?
Academics.
Yeah.
Well, he makes a good point, I think.
Yeah.
But let's pull it back a minute. Who's the mentor for these guys? I mean, we can all reach back to people
there's
who
plenty
have
of
smacked us
resources.
upside the head and showed us, we're screwing up. Who is that for them? I mean, and for Nick Saban did that for a lot of players.
Oh yeah, well that changes.
Hey, Coach Bryant, for you. I mean,
Well, when they leave, I mean,
it was Coach Fuller.
Yeah, I love Coach Fuller. I mean, I did.
Well, but there's somebody, and I can rattle up names.
Languages.
I know y'all can.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
A lot of 4-letter words.
Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, he.
I mean,
but I mean, just.
I don't know that answer. It's different.
But I mean, we grew up in an environment like that. I mean, not to come across as the resident old man here, but who is that for them? I mean, because I think it's systemic.
Well, so what happens is the people that come in with the managing their money, quote unquote, are the people they look to for advice, and a lot of them are just there to get their money.
Yeah, it's been agent driven, or even the parents acting as the agents, and sometimes that there's not good decision.
I mean, there's always going to be a snake in the woodpile, but I mean,
Uncle Tony.
Yeah, but there needs to be someone trustworthy there.
I mean, I go back to what Jeff Goodman tweeted or posted on X, whatever you want to call it now. PJ Haggerty, he was one of the last high profile. There's still a couple out there.
We saw him here in Huntsville.
But PJ Haggerty, when he left Memphis,
and
he was looking for $3.5 million per year. Well, that didn't happen, and he ended up, I think Memphis may have come up to 3, but they just kept, waiting and waiting and waiting. Memphis moved on. In other words, they took the offer off the table. He ends up having to go to K-State, and supposedly it's $2.5 million per year. And they're not, as Jeff Goodman pointed out, they're not supposed to be as good as, say, a Memphis if he had gone back. They're not even supposed to be a tournament team. And so how do you enhance your value as a player? Because he didn't have high enough. He took his name out of the draft because he didn't think he was going to go high enough.
Yeah.
So how do you enhance your value if you're playing on a worse team? Because last year Memphis was good and they won the league tournament, and then they go to the NCAAs. Well, guess what? And K-State was one of those teams last year that was one of the most underachieving. They had a very high payroll, and then it didn't live up to it. So I don't know. I just think sometimes the guys that are making the decisions, whether it's the parents or the father or the agent, are not looking out for the betterment of the player. And I know that, and the coaches don't want to have to deal with that. That's why they hire general managers and things like that nature in college football. They don't want to deal with it, but they can still act as mentors. But it's become so transactional, it's harder to. And that's why Nate Oates and I quote Nate Oates and because I've heard him talk about it, and Kalen DeBoer, that's why they're trying to create a culture where there is trust and communication, and it's not just showing up and punching a clock like it was for Nico Iamaleava in Tennessee.
A new morning show host down at 104.5, the ESPN affiliate, is Matt Flynn.
Oh,
he is co-hosting now with Jacob Hester, and had a chance to talk to Jacob last week about that. And he said, "Hey, you may want to tune in Monday." I said, "Why? What's going on Monday?" We've got Jimbo coming on.
Oh, Dirtneck.
Yeah.
Did you call him that, please?
I did pass along why you call him that, but no, they did not call Jimbo Dirtneck.
Well, of course I'm not going to say
do you have any audio on that?
Yes, I do.
I was hoping you would say
this
that.
is exactly, yes, I do have some audio.
Of course you
and
do.
it had to do with the recruitment of one Matt Flynn, and the name Derek Dooley was brought up by Jimbo Fisher.
And there was a combine at A&M, and Derek Dooley had that part of Houston and down there, and there was a combine at A&M, and so Matt was going to be at that Nike combine. So I said, just go look at this guy. I just want to. This is a guy that may sneak under the radar that just we could get in on. I mean, we were on everybody in the country, but I said I like this guy as well as anybody.
Yeah.
So Derek's a young coach. Derek goes to the combine, and so he comes back and he said, he's not overly tall. He said he's not really, but he said he moved pretty well. But he said this and this. Now he said, Jimbo, I just didn't like him. He said he had fat ankles. We come in and y'all scrimmage that day, and y'all threw like 25 passes. He threw like 25 passes in the scrimmage. Bang, bang, bang. Matt completes like 24 of them.
Yeah.
He's running around making plays, and he's throwing the ball all over. And, Nick come over to me. He looked at me. Said, Jimbo, this guy's a really good player. I said, I told you he's a really good player. He said, well, why didn't we do him? And I said, because Derek said he had fat ankles and he didn't look bad. He said he did, he wasn't nothing special. He told me, he said, get Derek on the phone. We're standing there watching the scrimmage. So I called Derek up. I said, hey, Nick wants to talk to you. Nick grabbed the phone. He said, hey, Derek, don't you ever recruit another, don't you ever evaluate another quarterback? This guy looks like Johnny Unitas running around here. He's showing every ball crazy. He looked good. Derek don't know what to say.
Fat ankles.
Oh, I've heard everything.
Fat ankles.
My dad used to say that anybody with a saddle ass couldn't play. And I remember who he was looking at when he said it. And the guy was coming to Alabama, and then when Coach Perkins left, he went to Auburn, was All-American and All-Pro. I can't remember his name right now, though. You probably look it up. He's one of the top recruits at that time for him.
For Coach Dye?
No, he would have played for Coach. I guess it would have been Coach Dye. I guess
Okay.
because it was the year I left, and he was coming in and he had committed, and then Coach Perkins left, and he ended up going to Auburn. He started, I think he played for the Browns or the
What position?
played tackle. He's offensive tackle. He's huge. He had a
play in the NFL.
Saddle ass. Oh yeah, he played forever. He was all pro.
You want Steve Waller?
No, it wasn't Steve Wallace. Steve Wallace is older than me. This guy would have been younger than me.
Younger, okay. Gotcha.
Steve Wallace is a good player too.
No, he was.
He didn't have a saddle ass. So.
Yeah. No. I mean, I remember the Amari Cooper stories because he was considered a 3-star player and he came to Alabama's camp, and I think it was ironically the father of the current LSU QB that drew the wrath of Nick Saban. There was the OC at the time, as you know, and he basically went up to him and said, "Well, I don't know where the hell this kid came from, but we can't cover him. So he's made every play in this camp. So I think we better start recruiting him hard."
The 2 tackles that were drafted late 80s, Jim Thompson to the Indianapolis Colts, and Stacy Searles.
No, that was the Stacy was awesome. Jim Thompson was an okay player, but it's older than that. They'd be older than that.
Oh, older than
that.
Yeah,
they're well. Excuse me, they're younger than that.
Steve Wallace.
They're younger than me. Steve Wallace is older than me.
86.
And Stacy Searles is my same age, so
Right.
it had to. He would have been
younger.
Yeah, so they would have graduated in 91. They probably been a 90 or 91 draft.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, Rob Shelby was drafted in 91 from Auburn, and Wayne Gandy.
No.
Okay.
I do remember Wayne Gandy.
Okay.
What about the next year?
I'm moving into 94.
So
I mean,
look it up. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Doug Nussmeier was the one that drew the wrath of Khan, one of them anyway, because they couldn't cover Amari Cooper. Of
the old fat ankles. The old fat ankles.
Yeah.
From Derek Dooley.
And I will say, the 2 receivers that I heard that about that came out of nowhere to kind of just destroy camp that weren't 5 stars, that ended up being 5-star players. They both panned out rather well. The first one was Amari Cooper, and we all know what he did.
Yeah.
The second one was some cat named Waddle, who they couldn't cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the big deal about Waddle is, you remember this, Steve. I said I watched film on that guy.
Yeah.
I watched film. He was awesome, but he played in a league, a private school league in Texas.
That.
And so you couldn't, but the vision, his vision's what, I mean, it's his speed as well, but it's his vision that makes him incredible. He has incredible vision and speed. And you don't usually get, and quickness. And so he has 3 things that you don't see very much, but when they do, you're going to be a great player in the NFL as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Final call for phone calls as well. It is The Drive here on a Monday, wrapping things up with Drew DeArmond.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa, starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Your Fox 54 weather, brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Quiet and mostly clear for this Monday night. Low temperatures going to be falling into the upper 60s. Tuesday, another afternoon full of sunshine. High temperatures warming into the upper 80s. Rain returns back to the forecast on Thursday. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long. Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN.
I mean this with all respect. He is sounding more like his dad, more and more and more.
That's not an insult.
No, it really isn't. And I don't know how he feels about that. I'm talking about Josh Carey. But if you are of a certain age, I'll say 50 plus, close your eyes, listen to a Trash Panda game, and go, oh my gosh.
I got to tell you, sitting on the back porch, listening to Trash Pandas games, it's reminiscent of high school days, listening to Braves games.
It's fun to listen to. Josh is
without having to hear the Braves lose.
That is over on Talk Radio, WZZN, our sister station. It's a Monday, so it's an off day.
Yeah,
for
so
the
game
Trash
tomorrow
Pandas.
is first pitch 6.
Where are they at tomorrow?
5:45.
It's over your right shoulder.
Yeah, it sure is. It's also right here. They're at the Birmingham Barons.
Long road trip.
Yeah. They got day baseball
And they
on
play it
Wednesday.
in Birmingham. They play that in Birmingham.
Day baseball Wednesday. Yeah. You hear that first pitch at 12:30.
Unlike their hockey team.
Go ahead and get the Talk Radio WZZN app while you're picking up the 97.7 ESPN Zone app. Check your marketplace. Great place to keep up with everything.
I did want to play this. J.C. Latham went on Bussin' with the Boys and went through exactly what it was like one particular spring into summertime down in Tuscaloosa. This is Bussin' with the Boys. Their guest was J.C. Latham.
Into the spring, and it's like you're going into spring ball, and like that was never easy because like in spring, like they break it up into 4 groups, and most of the time, all the groups got enough for 4 groups. But O-line, we only had like I think it was like 13 guys. But like Saban wasn't like, oh, we got to break it down because O-line doesn't have a lot. So the starters will get 2 backups, and like the third string will get 2 backups. So we're doing like I remember like even T-Book and I, we would have days where we'd be going like 30 reps in a row, 30 plays in a row, like 30, 40. And it was like insane. And like the next day it'll be somebody else going 30 plays in a row. And it's like you're doing all of that, and then you get 3 weeks off in May, and you come back and you start the summer program. And that's insane. Like you got like the hell square thing where you're outside in, 95, 100 degree weather doing conditioning and stuff. So it's like doing all of that. And then when you get your free time, like nobody else knows what you go through. So being with your homeboys who just did all of that, like y'all on the same page as what y'all finna do. So it's like, that's why like, even after the NFL, like anybody, like as soon as I got to Tennessee, like really was like one of the first guys I was talking to. Cause like he knew, what it was going through all of that. So, but nah, that being over there was just honestly, it was insane. The work
sounds like a war veteran.
Well, I mean, so there were only 2 centers one spring on our whole team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was nuts. And that was, Coach Fuller finally, we're doing 3-on-3, and they got all these defensive linemen. And we have 2 centers. And finally, he started just snapping the ball.
Oh,
I mean, he wasn't in front of anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right? Because it was just too much. You go enough, you're gonna get tired, and something bad's gonna happen.
What are the squares? Do you know what the squares are? I don't know what he is referencing there with the summer squares.
Well, I can just tell you this from seeing a little bit of spring in the practice this past year. They didn't have a lot of offensive tackles either because of the portal. And that's why Olasa Leanan spent the entire time at tackle.
They had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, because as you know, Caden Proctor didn't do anything physically, and then Wilkin Formby was out there, but they're trying to develop depth. They had Mike Carroll at tackle, and I think he'll eventually be a guard. But right now, one of the hardest things to do, and Kirby Smart talked about, is the depth. You just don't have depth. And it's tough to keep offensive linemen because they all want to play. So your depth is right now all freshmen and redshirt freshmen, just guys that haven't played.
But what I found, Drew, is you go and look at all the transfers.
Yeah,
the offensive linemen, the transfers, and everybody. You remember 2 years ago had a tackle from Alabama.
Yeah.
None of them go on end up doing that good.
They don't. Most of the guys.
I remember Damian George when he was a freshman. I thought he was going to be a great player. He just didn't ever develop.
I tried to warn my Gator friends about the lead feet, and they got the chance to see that when they put him at tackle. Now they wised up and put him at guard the next year, but I was like, hey.
See, what was interesting how the games changed is back in our day, you better have some guards that can move.
Right. Quick. Yeah. And now they're kind of going more back to that for Alabama, period. They want smaller, quicker linemen for Kalen DeBoer's offense instead of the monsters.
Yeah, to me, it's any offense.
Yeah.
You run the spread offense, you got to be you have some quick people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it doesn't hurt to be big as well. And you can't be strong enough.
Right.
That's impossible to get too strong.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember there was some concern when Parker Brailsford came in that he was under 300 pounds, but he was a great fit for what they do. And he was a great player at Washington. He's a smaller, quicker center, Now it's not going to happen anytime soon, but heck, I remember in 1992 from Fairhope, Toby Shields, one of his teammates, William Barger. Well, Wes knows him, but he told me that
Toby really better than Lou Barger.
Yeah, and now Barger would tell me that Toby, a lot of times during the season, through practice and everything else, he would probably be 240. Like he wouldn't even be 250 pounds. He was so quick. Yes, so quick.
So we will be at Baumhauer's Victory Grill coming up on Wednesday, and we'll visit. Are you available Wednesday at Baumhauer's?
Yes. You gonna be able to make it, Drew? We're eating at a restaurant. You sure
I
you'll
won't
able
be
to
there
make it
Thursday, but I'll be on a bus.
Only because you're on a bus.
Yeah. I hope they get to speak to Nate Oates. Maybe we'll see.
I bumped into Coach. He really likes his team.
They can shoot it, and now he and Preston all have the ace in the hole that they didn't tell anybody about until midnight.
Yeah,
when just right before the deadline, you get Phylon back.
Yep.
As
I think he knew because he was just like,
I kept thinking of Joe Hunk's boy Ron Slay in the Boom Boom Room.
Yes.
Phylon.
I think it's going to benefit LeBaron very well.
Oh, I think it is. I said it on this show and talking ball. I mean, he needed another year to refine his game, get stronger, and I think he's going to benefit greatly from returning and being the guy they build around. They've got another scholarship. Will they use it? I don't know. We will see. I know there's a couple of guys out there. Now, they're not going to recruit Desmond Claude anymore. He'll probably end up Tennessee, Oregon, Washington, Gonzaga, somewhere like that. But once Phylon came back, they distanced themselves from him. But you could see them maybe at a wing, maybe a big, or somebody reclassify. There's always that. You never know. But, they have some flexibility.
You might want to look up in case you're just dived into football, what Alabama did to put this roster together with the portal. It's a really good team. It might be Nate's best team. Yeah.
Oh, God. He did it.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. This hour of the Paul Feinbaum Show is brought to you by Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
The SEC.